we care about the result. The result is to get to net zero.
The House is back in session. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, it's been a long time since they've been back in session. Mark Carney having his big summer vacation here because there wasn't really anything that important going on, was there, over the summertime here? We've got tons of news. I've got a zillion updates here. We've got the Canada First rally that happened in Toronto over the weekend, which brought out a lot of crazy lefties counter-protesting freedom. Mark Carney rolling out his agenda, and I got a surprise for you at the end of the video. Let's jump into this. Got Marty up north with this one saying Parliament resumes today, and with that, Parliament is on track to have fewest sitting days in nearly a century this year, with limited legislative achievements in Mr. Carney's first months in office. The House is on pace to sit for just 73 days this year, the fewest since 1937. This is what the Liberals have accomplished in 2025. And you can see here, this is the projected, this line over here, and the last time you can see here, 1937. This is just unbelievable. Got this one here. Stellantis cancels the Ram 1500 REV as electric truck demands dims. The EV's gone. The electric Ram truck is gone. Got an update here. Donald Trump is calling on all NATO nations to boycott Russia, stop buying oil from them. So he put out this tweet here, basically telling the European Union to do exactly as he says, and he'll be able to end the conflict with Russia.
He goes on to say NATO's commitment to win has been far less than 100%, and purchase of Russian oil by some has been shocking. It greatly weakens your negotiating position and bargaining power over Russia. Trump says he is ready to go. Just say when.
This conflict is heating up. I don't put it too much on the channel because it triggers the robot around here. But basically, there was some drones that were tested and there was a weakness was found there. People are saying that it is Russian drones that were sent there to test the defenses, but who knows? It could have been Vladimir Zelensky himself. It could have been Xi Jinping sending those drones and testing it out. That's what I've heard from that so far. In response, Poland is then mobilizing a lot of its military, its equipment and all that kind of stuff. So this conflict is getting closer to WW3, not further away. Meanwhile, Team Canada was met with yelling and anger from these protesters at the cycling Grand Prix in Montreal as Palestinian protesters broke in and started waving their flags during Team Canada's moment. And look at Adam Vancouverden, this little loser here, smiling, grinning, ear to ear. He's got no problem with those protesters commandeering and taking over all these Canadian events. This is disgraceful. Arrest these people. 5 years in jail for being an idiot. Look at him there, clapping his hands. He's all for this. These protesters ruin everything. Yeah, they really seem to be ruining everything in Canada. And what has Mark Carney been doing this whole time? Well, he was out here having a night on the town. The Pogues were simply epic tonight at Ottawa. Much has changed in the 3 decades since I saw them last, but there's still a band you don't meet every day. Mark Carney couldn't give a rat's about running Canada. He only runs it when he's got time, squeezes it in around his concerts. Meanwhile, we've got Liberal Bonnie Crombie resigning from the Ontario Liberal Party. I mean, she was a disaster. If you can't beat Doug Ford, I mean, it's time to resign. Like, let's get real. Is Doug Ford running for the Liberal Party leadership now? He should be. You saw Mark Carney's press conference the other day announcing his housing initiatives, which really just enriches himself. His communication is awful, and it seems to be getting worse.
Again, I think their struggle is going to be more on the communication side, less on the policy side. On the policy side, we can argue that, you know, he's not picking the right projects or he's not focusing on the right things. But the things he has told us he's focusing on are big things. And his struggle is that he has to make that relatable to the struggles that people are feeling at home, that the things parents are worried about. Pierre Poilievre is very good at doing that. And the problem for Mark Carney, it's not just that he's not very good at doing that. He doesn't think it's important to do that. That's where that whole political inexperience piece comes in. He doesn't put value on transparency. He doesn't put value on emotional intelligence relating to what people are feeling at home, at work, on the street, at the park. And I think that might be really, really difficult for him as he gets into the fall and realizes he's not good at that. And he's got to get good at it very quickly.
Yeah, so Mark Carney is an elitist, globalist banker who doesn't give a crap about any of us, only cares about himself, clearly. So she's spot on here. He doesn't have that emotional intelligence. He doesn't have empathy. He doesn't know how to interact and care for the common folk, and he's struggling badly with that. Justin Trudeau is able to put on one of his acting hats and just go in there and ham it up. He loved hamming it up. I don't think Mark Carney particularly likes going in front of the camera, where Trudeau just thrived on that. He just soaked it up. He didn't really want to be Prime prime minister. He just wanted to be in front of the cameras and have everyone looking at him. We got a different kind of beast here in the office, right, with Mark Carney, but his communications, his optics, the way he's treating the public, it's all quite awful. This is one part from yesterday's announcement I didn't cover, but listen to this. Mark Carney saying a first-time home buyer will only take them 4 years to save up for their down payment.
Young Canadians are doing everything right. They're studying hard, finding a job, saving up. Yet for too many of them, rent is unaffordable and home ownership feels entirely out of reach. Across the country, it takes nearly 4 years for first-time home buyers to save for a down payment. And in markets such as Toronto and Vancouver, even longer. Even longer.
This clip here has a couple of major red flags. So first off, nobody's saving up for a down payment in 4 years. That's crazy. Let alone in Vancouver. I mean, there's already been the math done on it. It's like 30, 35 years to save up for a down payment. But he also said at the beginning here, young people are doing it all right. They're studying. They're getting a job.
They're studying hard, finding a job.
But they're not finding a job. This is social manipulation. He knows that young people are not finding jobs, so he's going to announce that young people are finding jobs. So if you're one of the young people who doesn't have a job, it must just be you. Only 4 years to save 100 to 200K. Who is he talking to? Yeah. Another interview we got here is Rosemary Barton with Tim Hodgson. Rosemary once again humiliates herself, proving she does not know what's going on in the country. She just shows up to read the teleprompter. One important nugget of information comes out of this, and that's that they might be scrapping the industrial carbon tax.
Is the government going to move forward with its cap on emissions? You've said you're negotiating something with Alberta and the industry. Is the negotiation to get rid of the cap and they have to commit to eliminating or limiting greenhouse gas emissions in a different way?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I've been in business for a long time, negotiated many deals. I've never found it constructive to negotiate with a counterparty through the media.
Okay, that's fine. We won't negotiate, but can you at least confirm that the emissions cap is no longer necessarily going ahead?
Of course, I can't confirm that. We're in.
This guy's body language is hilarious. It's like textbook, like he's grabbing his tie. He's like, oh boy, I don't want to answer that one.
We're in a negotiation. We are working hard with our friends in the different provincial governments and with industry. Here's what we...
I don't deny that. He used the word friends. That's not the right word if this is simply a government to business relationship. These literally are their friends. Remember, this guy was the former chair at Hydro One. Not only that, this guy's got a long history with Goldman Sachs and Mark Carney. That's why Carney brought him in. He's his right-hand man. Something hit me today when I was going through my own board here. I've been trying to figure out why is it all being pushed towards anything that has to do with electricity. Obviously, EVs, this whole net zero agenda is pushing everything electric. And a couple things come to mind. Well, I saw this. Great Lakes Power Corporation, Brookfield Renewable subsidiary focused on hydroelectric power. Are they trying to push everything towards electricity and then they'll fully control our lives because they'll have control? If they have companies like this, they can jack up the prices, they can get full control over the profits of everything. So I'm going to dig into more of what Brookfield Renewables, Brookfield Corporation, and Brookfield Asset Management owns in regards to power generation. And on top of that, they keep pushing these industries like solar, wind, all these eco-green stuff. Well, who's the world leader in eco-green? It's China. Is this another play to make money from China? Does Mark Carney and all these guys have secret investments in China? Like, there's a lot of moving parts here. Gonna have to tackle these one topic at a time, but something fishy is going on here.
If we can get pathways built, we will do something no other industry, no other oil industry in the world has done. It would be significantly reduce the carbon footprint of our entire industry.
No other oil industry around the world has done that because it's stupid. It hurts their profits. That's why they don't do that. Now, I'm all for them capturing their emissions and not stinking up towns that these oil refineries are around. I think we're all in favor of that. But we don't need to push this to such an extreme where we can't even produce any oil and gas despite us having reserves out the wazoo here in Canada. Meanwhile, we've got countries around the world leapfrogging us in economic prosperity.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think a cap on emissions makes sense? Do you see why it was previously, under the previous government, put forward?
I wasn't here for the previous government, and I'm
not asking you to respond to the previous.
That's such a slimy response. He's just like, come on.
Government. I'm asking you whether you think a cap on emissions makes sense.
I am focused on results, not how one gets there. That's what I will do. That's what the Prime Minister has said. We're in the middle of discussions. We will work to get to the right endpoint. The right endpoint is getting pathways built, reducing the carbon intensity of our oil industry, And what the Prime Minister has said is, if we get that done, we are open to working with potential proponents on a pipeline.
This guy's insane. So when he was answering that question, he both had a head nod left and right and up and down. So I think he is legitimately in the middle of those negotiations and it isn't decided. Because usually people telegraph this yes or no just with their head motion. Even if they're trying to hide it, they can't help it coming out of their head. But he did both there.
The government, the Prime Minister, keeps talking about climate competitiveness, carbon competitiveness, sort of things that I don't think I fully understand at this stage because there's strategy.
Why is she admitting this? It's like, come on, Rosie. You're supposed to be Canada's top journalist, reporter, and you don't know what is going on here. They've been talking about this for 6 months now.
That will come later. Does this mean that Ottawa is taking a different approach to fighting climate change, that we're trying to find the best path forward as opposed to hitting necessary targets?
So the Prime Minister and Minister de Bruzen are leading this discussion. Their goal is clear. It's the same goal that Alberta has. It's the same goal industry has, which is to get to net zero. We are working on how we do that.
We're already net zero. We are already there. Do I need to take my video on that topic and print it out on a CD and send it to Tim Hodgson so he can see how the math adds up? The peatlands, the boglands, the trees, the forests, all of it suck up all of our carbon and some. The only time we have excess is when we have massive forest fires. So that's where all of your efforts should be.
We care about the result. The result is to get to net zero. Everybody shares that long-term goal.
Yeah.
This is a win. I really think Canadians should be really excited that we have a win, that everyone believes this is the right thing, and we're working hard to do that.
This smells like a big green grift that somebody's trying to make a bunch of money off of. This is like listening to a second-year university class of kids that don't understand economics or reality. This is delusional, and it's never nice to see, Rosemary. So we're seeing a bunch of people celebrating the life of Charlie Kirk today. This is in Canada. This isn't in America, as Pleb's pointing out here. Bunch of Canadians in Edmonton saying goodbye to Charlie Kirk.
It's been hitting me harder in the last couple of days, and I just wanted to let Eric and Kirk know that me and my family are sending prayers their way. Y'all sing it with me if you know it. And I send it up.
So I don't know who this guy is, but it's going to be copyrighted if I put that music in there, but this is amazing. We've got Canadians coming out being Canadians. As Pleb says, the real Canada still exists, and this is what we're fighting for. Well said. Moving on, we've got a memorial for Charlie Kirk, and the left are, well, the left will be the left. Running through, stomping through, kicking things out, until he gets Hulk slammed. Because that is going to happen. There we go. That will happen. Don't be an idiot. You've got to wonder how deranged someone has to be to run through a memorial for someone who's passed. I mean, really. You also have to wonder why someone would say this on national television.
Propagate hatred against some people or communities. And, if you think about some of what Charlie Kirk had to say, he did have hateful things to say about groups of people, and he did encourage even violence against groups of people.
No, that's only the CBC. Propaganda wing of the Liberal government strikes again. Got Andy Lee posting this one. So this is kind of following up on what Jasmine posted here. She just did an experiment on the Government of Canada's website yesterday. What do you notice? Searches for far-right extremism, 22 found. And if you do the same thing for far left, 0. That aligns nicely with CBC's message there. What else have we seen? This airlines suspend workers for posts about the pew-pewing of Charlie Kirk. There are a lot of people are losing their jobs over being an absolute nutcases, which is good to see. Big companies don't want to be tied to that stuff. I mean, it makes sense from a business point from their side of it. Meanwhile, in Calgary, we have another vigil here held for Charlie Kirk.
Sing that again. Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace.
This is nice. We still have Canadians here. It's hard to see sometimes in the cloud of despair in Canada. Canada is still here. It is not lost yet. Canada is not the only place. Check out this. This is coming from the UK. Look at this protest. Some saying it's 110,000. Some saying it's 1 million. It's a lot of people. British patriots have come out. Look at this. It's packed. Like, this is packed. British patriots coming out. They've had enough of all the nonsense. They've got gangs that go around there and do bad things to women, and then the women get charged for it because their laws are stupid, and they've had enough of it, having their daughters, their sisters, their mothers be victim to this stuff, among many other things. This aerial just keeps going and going and going. Thousands and thousands of people. You got this one posted by Mario. It says, Jordan Peterson criticized the government, the result, suspension, and threatened to lose his license. And we've got this public official here, Manitoba cabinet minister won't lose job over repost condemning Charlie Kirk. This is Minister Nahani Fontaine of Wabkanu's NDP government. So as Mario's saying here, publicly elected official praises brutal political ending of someone, result gets to keep her job. This is a dangerous trend. We're seeing more and more crazy leftist politicians drumming up this sort of anger, stoking the fire, and we're seeing these crazy leftist Antifa types, crazy leftist Canadians coming out and being dangerous, making threats.
Manitoba cabinet minister is apologizing after she shared a disturbing social media post condemning slain American conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The province's families minister, Nahani Fontaine, had reshared someone's post about Kirk on Thursday night, which accused Kirk of being racist, sexist, and transphobic. Fontaine's post also called Kirk a white nationalist mouthpiece and that she had no empathy for him. She removed her post shortly after, but criticism has been growing. The province's premier says he spoke with the minister and has asked her to apologize, adding that she will not be removed from cabinet.
This double standard is absolutely ridiculous. The left should be having a meltdown about that. We've seen a couple people get fired because of their words, but politicians don't. I should note too, when this comes from CBC and they say all those words, I can put that in there because this has already been scanned by YouTube's algorithm robot and it knows it's a clip from CTV. But if it comes from me, then it's a problem. If you're wondering why I leave that in whenever it comes from a news report. We got Abhi Khan, the official opposition in Manitoba, calling her out saying the apology isn't enough.
After ridiculing a sign language interpreter, offending the deaf community, Nahani Fontaine was allowed to keep her job as the Minister of Accessibility. Now, after publicly condoning the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a father of 2 young children, Nahani Fontaine is still the Minister of Families. For the record, an apology is not an apology if you don't mean it or you're forced to do it. If you really are sorry, why aren't you out there publicly saying sorry? Saying you're sorry for sharing a post is not an apology. Premier Canoe, accountability is not cancel culture. It's holding your team, your ministers to a higher standard. You have proven once again that you're too scared to make them face real consequences.
Just imagine ministers of families sharing this, going after a father that was just ended. This is a minister of families posting this, doesn't get fired, stoking all of the anger and extremism in our country.
When they show you who they are, believe them. My message to Manitobans is that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Yes. Message to Manitobans is when the Premier and his cabinet show you who they are, believe them. Said many, many times, when people show you who they are, believe them.
It was okay. I was thrown off. It wasn't great, but because the woman, she shouldn't have been on the stage. I couldn't see her there on the side, and all I could see her was her
Frantic Henry?
Yeah, so I'm like, why did they have her on the scene? Well, I think so. So I'm like, you need to react.
Believe them.
This lady needs to be fired. I mean, look what we've got going on here. It's bad enough we have politicians stoking this extremism in our country. We've got CTV posting stuff like this. Right-wing anger surges as Kirk's ending fuels calls for vengeance. And this other one from CTV, Charlie Kirk's allies warn Americans, mourn him properly or else. Or else what? Well, what kind of garbage is this? So we've got some few updates here. So apparently, according to the New York Post, Tyler Robinson lived with transgender partner. So the left so badly wanted to make him seem like he was a Trump supporter. Somebody photoshopped him in a Trump shirt, tried to make him seem like a Republican, a conservative, when clearly that's not the case. Is he a leftist? Probably. I'll wait for the official details and video and all that stuff to come out where people are going to find out that this guy's likely a very far leftist. It's sad when you see all of this anger getting stoked, the extremism by politicians like Adam Van Couverden. Remember when he said this just a few months ago?
Okay, as far as you're concerned? What I'm focused on is my constituents. I'm focused on is beating Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election. He poses an existential threat to Canada's democracy, in my view.
Pierre Poilievre poses an existential threat to democracy, according to Liberal Adam Van Couverden, former Secretary to the Minister of Sport and the Environment.
Beating Pierre Poilievre in the next federal election, he poses an existential threat to Canada's democracy, in my view.
Existential threat to democracy. That really sounds like language rallying up the troops to go get rid of him, doesn't it? Adam truly is a demonic a-hole. Yeah, he is. This language should get him immediately fired. He should have been fired for saying this. Not we're frightened he's going to win the next election, but he's an existential threat to democracy. Going back to this post here, you're seeing stuff like this. Look at this comment section. His life shouldn't be thrown away for a small mistake. He's just a kid. Don't throw his future over a silly mistake. What's more disturbing is this 163,000 likes on this, 20,000 on this. There are a lot of deranged people. The left have lost their minds. There's no common sense here. When we have politicians stoking the anger and extremism in our country, what do we get? We've got a bunch of Canadians out here protesting the blockages in the streets, taking back the streets, peaceful protests where they're walking up the street, and a whole bunch of Antifa types, left-wing nutcases, showed up and started getting physical with them. I can't show you most of these videos. There's people pow-powing, there's people being slammed, there's a few arrests were made on Antifa types because they were getting so dangerous with Canadians. So what you're seeing is the Antifa types are on this side. I mean, there's a bunch of journalists mixed in, and then the Canadians over here on the right side. So here's the Canadians over here. You can see them, obviously, the ones with the hockey sticks. And here's another one. It's just madness. So they're chanting F off fascists. You have so many people like NDP Charlie Angus, who's recently platformed, which really is quite a terrible thing. You can see Charlie Angus powered by Media's Touch Network. This is a huge channel with 5 million subscribers in America. This is a far left channel. This Media's Touch Network is hilarious. They're always saying Mark Carney getting big wins on Donald Trump. He's always doing his titles like that when Mark Carney's not getting big wins at all. They're trying their best to rally their crew in America. Well, what's Charlie Angus posting here? This is former NDP MP who lost his seat. MAGA is kidnapping Canadians, Trump's concentration camps. This is a real title that Charlie Angus put on his YouTube channel. If you listen to any of these videos, he's insane. This guy's being platformed by a huge left-wing channel in America, and Charlie Angus all the time talking about fascism. There's Canada's full of fascists. Going back to this one, well, then we get these chants all the time, F off fascists. Where are the fascists? Where are the funny mustache guys from WW2? I don't see them. Where are they? These people don't exist in Canada. Anyone with common sense who follows the Conservatives is apparently a fascist in Canada. Here's another video of them. Counter-protesters chant this R word here, go home. They chase away Canada First protesters down Bloor Street in Toronto. Go home! This looks like the beginning of a civil war. This isn't peaceful protesting. These people are insane. The Canada First protest wasn't going after these people. They were protesting in the streets. They want to take back the streets that keep getting blocked, that's blocking major infrastructure. That affects all Canadians. Nobody wants to have streets blocked when ambulances are going through, because that could be your life that you need that ambulance. And these insane people are getting extremely dangerous. Everyone is an R word or a fascist if you don't agree with them. So much for multiculturalism. That's what we got now. The problem is you have too many of these politicians pushing these words, and the left just jump onto this and then they sink their teeth in it, and suddenly everyone who doesn't agree with them is a fascist. The only R word people here are the counter protesters. Yep, that's the truth. As for a little secret at the end of the video, my chart is now live. I'm still fiddling with the domain names, but it is moosechart.com and moosechart.ca. For now, I'd recommend just use the link in the description. Sorting out the DNS thing with the web host, it seems to have some sort of problem, but should note too, this is a work in progress. Some of the information might have changed already. I noticed some information has changed, so I'll constantly update this, but welcome to the Moose Chart.